one of the things that started me thinking about whether a person should follow the government's advice to eat a lot of starch.
Complex, otherwise known as complex carbohydrates.
Yeah, the government and the American Dietetics Association, I think it's been almost 50 years, have been promoting that idea that complex carbohydrates have some advantage over sugars. And I started reading about that in the 70s and ran across Gerhard Volkheimer's research in which he had first fed different mixtures of starch and water, cornstarch, potato starch, and several other kinds of starch, which occur in grains that are roughly the size of a cell, anywhere from 5 microns in diameter up to 100 microns. And he would feed these to his experimental mice and then sampled their body fluids. And he found that a chronic diet was of frequent feedings of the starch solution was he could demonstrate the particles of starch in their bloodstream just minutes after they ate it, and then in all of their body fluids about an hour later. And so he fed that sort of a program to his mice for several months and found that they were prematurely aged. And when he sliced them up, he found in all of their organs little nests of dead cells where one of these fairly large grains of starch, roughly the size of a red blood cell, was stuck in an arteriole, killing all of the cells downstream from that plugged up point.
So the starch granules were blocking the arteries and starving the cells, or the arterioles, and starving the cells of the nutrition from the blood.
Yeah, and so he tested it on his medical students and would draw blood and sampled their urine and found that about 30 minutes after you drink some of it, you can find starch grains in your veins. 45 minutes to an hour later, you find it in the urine and in the bile and even in the cerebrospinal fluid about an hour and a half later.
And they're not supposed to cross the blood-brain barrier, are they?
Well, they aren't supposed to cross the intestinal barrier, but
because they're so small. I mean, is this just
so large?
Is this because people's intestines are completely out of balance, or is it just the nature of the size of the starch granule?
He assumed and proposed that they're being forced between cells, but